In this tutorial I'm going to be making a shirt flare dress, long dress. Okay, so here, how to fold the flare part. How to fold the flare part. You use your radius, that is your waist, divided by 3.14. Don't bother about how do we get 3.14. Just store that in your head. 3.14 is is what you use to get your radius for 180-degree flare. If it is 360-degree flare, that is the full flare, you use 6.28 to get the radius. Now, talking about getting the radius, that means you are going to be using 3.14 to divide whatever your waist is. Okay, this is 4 years. It should be enough, because on the maximum you use the whole 3 years for the flare part. Is a long dress, not a short one. Okay, and depending on your length too. This person is length 59. That means I'll be needing, at the end of the day, I'll be needing like 59 inches for her length. So that's why I said 3 years we finish on the flare part. So I said, like I said, for the radius you will use 3.14 to divide your whole waist measurement. Our whole waist measurement is 42. Okay, then I'll be adding 2 inches to it, because it has a joining at the side where there will be pocket, and then for joining allowance, so I'll be adding 2 inches, and then for this zipper also I'll be adding 2 inches to that 42, making 44. So you divide that 44 by 3.14, and then that gives me 14 inches for the radius. Now, to get the fold, now you will add that 14 inches to the length of the flare. Now, how do you get the length of the flare? From your whole length measurement, that is from your shoulder to your ankle, you will minus your shoulder to waist, that's your half length, minus your half length from the whole measurement. Whatever that is remaining is for the flare. So in our home, from 60, I added 1 to that 59 to make it 60. So 60 minus 18, it remains 42 inches. So that 42, I'm adding it to the radius, which is the waist, 14 inches. So that gives me 56 inches. Now, how do you fold that 56 inches on this yardage part, not the length? You can't even get 56 on the length, because this kind of style, you have to join it at the down part for you to get, either at the back or at the front, for you to get the full length. So you measure 56 inches on this yardage part, 56 inches. Then to be on safer side, I'm measuring 57 inches so that I get it accurate when I'm done. So this 56 is what I'm going to double again. It's flare, remember? So I'm going to bring it together like so, like this. So that means we have 56 on fold now, though the edges are open. So this is 56 inches, and then I'll place it on this folded edge, or so that we see the part that we need to join at the end of the day. I open it off like this. Open up this way. Here is the folded part. Okay, and then I bring it on top like this. Bring it this way. So after cutting this one, you can see that it's not equal. These two are equal, these two are not equal. That tells us that we are going to be joining to the front to get the same length. Okay, so I said for the radius we have 14 inches. Sorry, I have to get my scissors and chalk. Okay, so for the radius we have 14 inches. Or first of all, measure your 56 inches. 56 inches. You see this part is shorter, so we have 56 inches on this part, like so. So I'm going to measure that 56 all round. 56 inches all round. From this tip point here, this triangle point, this tip point, that's where you start measuring, and then all the way down 56 inches. 56 inches, and then 56 inches. So I want to try as much as possible to bring those lines to reality. I don't know if you can see this with this white chalk, but I'm just trying to connect the points. Okay, so we have 56 inches all the way, and then we said our radius is 14 inches. This is how to apply that measurement. Also from this pointed part, you measure 14 inches. 14 inches. 14 inches all through. Okay, I want to bring out the marks. Okay, so now before you cut out, it is advisable you cross check. I said our waist measurement is 42. When you know now, we ended up folding this into 4. This is the first fold and this is the second fold. So you just divide that waist measurement by 4. 42 divided by 4 will give you 10.5. So let's see if we have 10.5 here. Just follow this curve like this. Okay, so we have more than 10.5. That means the remaining allowance here will give us the side joining allowance and then the zipper allowance. But if you think it's too small, it will not contain what you want. This is 10.5. So what you have in excess here is not up to 1 inches. So to avoid any shortage, I will just make this 15 inches like this. I'll make it 15 inches. 15 inches. 15 inches. 15 inches, and then I'll connect it all the way back. Now the implication of what I've just done is that this length will not be complete again. So in essence, I must add it back. So at the side here, I will just leave what I have here because it's the side. Okay, but for the rest of it, I'm going to be adding 1 inch to what I have there. The 1 inch I took up, I'm adding it back. So because this part is going to be side, I'm not bothering to make it complete 1 inch. So you can leave it like that, and if you don't want it to leave it like that, you want everything to be equal, you will just refold and then do the same process that we did. Okay, so I'll just blend everything in. Like so. I'll just blend it in, and then I can cut. Okay, this will actually be the side. Even at that, this is the back, so it doesn't spoil anything. So I'm trying to create my zipper allowance. I'm trying to create the zipper allowance by just moving the folded part away, like so. Okay, all I need for the zipper allowance is 0.75. I don't need up to even 1 inch for the zipper allowance, so I'll just make sure everything is in line. Make sure everything is in line, or better say, I can even cut it. When I'm done cutting, I make any allowance, any adjustment I want to do. So let's cut first. Okay, after the cutting, I will just adjust the allowance. So what I have is just enough. Enough for zip. That's 0.75. That's just enough. Okay, you see this point that is coming up? I will just trim it off to have a rhyme shape here. So even like that, I'm creating more space for that part. And then after that, I will just slash this place open. So this becomes the side where the pocket will be. This becomes the front, and this becomes the back, same as the zipper area. So I will just cut this place off. So make sure you just hold this like this and then cut. Okay, so the side, the front, and then the back. Now we have to join to this front. There's need for joining there. So how do we join? You pick your remaining fabric, okay, this is small. I want to see. It has to be up, it has to be folded at this part also. So I just want the surface edge to be the part I'm going to be joining. Okay, so I'll be using this part for the length. Just measure whatever that is remaining for the completion of this front. See, here is the front, so measure what you have left. That is 11 and a half, but I need half inch to join to here, so let me just start measurement from here. So that's 12. To be on safe side, I will just mark 12 and a half. 12.5 here. So 12.5. Then I'm going to try and use my hand to follow the shape. I'm trying to feel the one that is down. So that's what I'll be cutting out. So join this to this, and then you have a complete flip. By the time you join it, you'll have something like this. The surface edge will be covered. You join it like that, and then it's complete length. So that is how to get your full flip, or long flip length. I'll be cutting the back first. I'm trying to manage this fabric. So for the back, the length is 1.5 inch shorter than the front length, and our front length is 18 inches. So I'm minusing that one. That's why I'm starting from this 1.5 inch. I'm minusing the 1.5 inch, 18. Then I need extra 1 inch that I will use to join the shoulder, and then ½ inch for joining to the flare that we just cut. Okay, so that's why we have on the 19th here. Okay, so after that, I'm going to be marking out the zipper allowance 0.75. That's what I'll mark all through here, and then I'll be connecting that straight. So 0.75 all through. This becomes our zipper allowance. And then for our shoulder measurement is 8.5. So this is 8.5. You see there's a small shortage, but I don't mind because I'll still be stepping down for the shoulder slope. So that's 8.5 there. And then our shoulder to chest is 9 inches. 9. I'll come here and mark 9 as well. And then I'll connect that. Like so. And then I'll be taking the bust measurement on the chest, so I don't need to do any further. There's nothing like bust at the back. Okay, so 8.5, 8.5, like so. And then I'll connect that straight down. Okay, so for the shoulder slope, for the front is 1 inch, and then I'll be connecting that to 3 inches, like so. Okay, so for the neck is a collar neck dress, so I'll be leaving it at, because she's a bit elderly and she doesn't want to choke it, so I'll be using 3.5, but the standard should be 3 by from 0.5 to 1 inch. I'll be doing 1 inch for her for the back neck depth, 1 inch by 3.5, and then using this part of my ruler pattern master, I'll connect that like so. Okay, so that's that for the neck. Now I'll be doing, you have the back is not straight, so I'll be putting the sway back effect here now. And how do you do that? On the waistline, this is our waistline. On the waistline, I'm going in by 0.75. From 0.5 to 1 inch, you can go in as 1 inch from this part. So I'll be using 0.75 0.575, sorry, for the sweep back, and then I'll be connecting this back to this 1 inch. I'm not connecting to the zipper allowance. I'm taking that off from the main measurement. Main measurement, not from the zipper allowance. And then I'll connect that slantly to that 1 inch. You might not take your own up to 1 inch. You might just divide what you have left here by 2 and then connect. But for me, I want to connect up to that neck depth, like so. Okay, and then I will now input the zipper allowance. Remember, I used 0.75 and this is 0.7, so I'm connecting this back to the neck depth like this. So here is our new zipper allowance. So I'll be cutting off this part. I'll be cutting off this whole part. I'll be cutting it off. Okay, now when that is done, our waist is 42 and we divided by 4. That's 10.5. 10.5. So our waist is 10.5. And then I'm using bust allocation for this, my client. I'm using bust allocation for this. What I mean by bust allocation, that the front bust is bigger, bigger or larger than the back, because there's no bust at the back. That's why I'm using that bust allocation. So for bust allocation, you divide your bust by 2. Then for the back, you minus 1.5. That's the from 1.5, depending on your cup size. So, but on the average, 1.5 is just good. So for our bust now, our total round bust is 44. Divided by 2 gives you 22. Then minus 1.5, that gives us 20.5. Now, because this is folded into 2, I'll be dividing that again by 2. So 20.5 divided by 2 will give us 10.25. So we have 10.25 here. And then I'll be adding allowance of 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. So there won't be any dart at the back. There won't be any dart at the back. The only dart will be at the front. So we have this, and then I can now come down to the middle of this plate. Now this is 4 inches. I'll go in by 1/2 inch, and then I'll connect from here to the shoulder slope like so, and then from here to the arm size. That gives us the arm size. So the back is ready. So I'll just cut that now. Let's slash this part open. And then the sway back is going off. So this is the back now. The back is ready, the flip part is ready. Let's go cut the front. For the front now, I use the bust measurement to fold the fabric, and then that's how I got this, and it's folded into 2. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to fold the button allowance, the placket at the front. So I'm doing just 1 inch because there will be an external placket that will be added to one side of the front. So this is 1 inch, and then I'm pinning down. That's because my table is pinnable. If you don't have a pinnable, just pin the fabric together like so. Okay. after that, this 1 inch you further divide it by 2. So this is 1 divided by 2, that's half, half and half, and then you connect that straight. So after connecting this straight, you start all your measurement from this new line, not from this folded part, from this new line that you just did. And then we said our shoulder is 8.5, so I'm marking 8.5, starting on that half inch mark. Then at our chest line, we said 9 inches. 9 inches. Connect that straight. Okay, the next one is shoulder to under bust. Our shoulder to under bust is 14. Our shoulder to bust, sorry, is 11 plus half inch. So I'll be marking on 11.5, half inch to join the shoulder. So that's 11.5. Okay, I'll connect that also straight. That's for the bust. Okay, the next is from the shoulder to under bust. Shoulder to under bust. Our shoulder to under bust is 14. So we have 14 here. If you notice, I moved it up to 11 because that's 11. So the allowance is up here now. That half inch allowance is now up. So 14 and then 14 here too. So we don't need to be measuring the shoulder to waist because that's what we use to get the half length. So connect that straight like so. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to mark the bust span measure line. How do you get the bust span line? Your bust span, you divide it by 2. Whatever you have is what you put down here. We have folded the cloth into 2, so all our measurement has to be divided. So on the bust point, you mark your bust span. Our own bust span is 8. 8 divided by 2 will give you 4 plus half inch. That's 4.5. You come to the waist and do the same thing. 4.5, and then you have a straight line there, like so. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to come to the chest line and put the shoulder measurement, which is 8.5, like so, and then I'll connect that. Okay, now for the shoulder slope for front, it is 1.5. Remember we marked 1 inch for the back. For here is 1.5, and then you connect that to 3 inches, just like we did at the back, like so. Okay, and then from this slope you come down by 3.5, go in by 0.75. At the front we went in by 0.5, but at the back, sorry, we went in by 0.5, but at the front we're going in by 0.75. Now after that, it's time to input my bust measurement and waist measurement. Okay, remember I said we are using allocation, bust allocation for this style, for this dress. So our total bust is 42, like we did for the back. Now instead of minusing 1.5 from half of that, we are adding 1.5. What do I mean? 44 divided by 2 will give you 22. Then you add 1.5, that's 23.5. And then when you divide that 23.5, this is 23.5 divided by 2, because this cloth is folded into 2. So what you have is 11.75. So for the bust is 11.75, and then the waist remain 10.5. 10.5. Okay, so I'll be adding 1 inch for allowance. For that, sorry, 1 inch for that. and that 1 inch I'll pick it up on this dart line. So this becomes the bust span line, becomes our dart line, and then I'll connect it to 1/2 inch before the bust line. So connect it this way and then connect it this way. That gives us our waist dart. Okay, so after that, I'm going to correct all this deep marking when I'm sewing it. So the next thing we want to do is to connect our measurement at the side like so, and then add our size seam allowance. So I'll be adding 1 1/4. Okay, so 1 1/4. That means I'm going to correct the allowance I added for the back. I added 1 1/2, so I'll reduce it to 1 1/4. So then for the bust dart, because this is now longer than what we have at the side. The reason is simply because the front length is longer than the back length because of the bust. So how do we correct this? That means we have to pick our darts so as to make this equal, the front side to be equal to the back side. So we are still picking the dart on the bust line measurement. So the dart is 1 1/2 inch. So that 1 1/2 we will divide by 2, and then on this part we have 0.75, on this part we have 0.75. So this completes 1 1/2. So that is 1 1/2 inch that we have picked, and then we'll connect it to 1/2 inch before the bust point, like so, and then we can complete the armhole like so. Okay, now for the neck we did 3.5 width. We'll do the same at the front, and then depth 3 inch. 3 inches is just enough, or 3 1/2, depending on your client or yourself. 3 1/2, and then connect that together. So, and then we'll cut out. So there's something I want to explain before we cut off. This is just the standard neck measurement. If you look at that style, you see that is like a V-neck. So that V-neck will start around like maybe 1/2 inch away from here. When we get to that part, I will explain better. So I'm cutting it off. So there's a mistake here. I'm going to rectify it before the joining. Okay, and that is that about the front. By the time we want to put the placket, you will see the sewing.